I took the night shift at the Mercedes-Benz factory, thinking it would be simple. I thought it would be quiet, uneventful, just walking the floor, checking machines, making sure production kept running. I couldn't have been more wrong. The factory is huge, bigger than it looks from the outside, with endless halls, conveyor belts stretching into darkness, and machines taller than any man. At night, it doesn't feel like a factory. It feels alive. It feels like it's watching, breathing, waiting for someone like me to wander too far. The first week was almost normal, or at least I convinced myself it was. Machines roared, alarms went off occasionally, sparks flew. Nothing unusual until I started noticing the small things. A cart sliding across the floor with no one behind it, doors opening and slamming shut by themselves, shadows flickering at the edge of my vision. I told myself it was exhaustion, paranoia, the monotony of walking the same halls for hours on end. But deep down, I knew it wasn't. It started with the welding section. I was checking a malfunctioning robotic arm when I heard it, a scraping sound, metal against metal. I turned, and the floor was empty. Nothing moved. The welding sparks were cold. I told myself it was an echo, the metal settling, anything to keep from losing my mind. But then I saw it in the reflection of a polished chassis. A figure standing at the far end of the line. Tall, impossibly thin, perfectly still. No face, just blackness where its features should have been. I blinked. It was gone. The next night, I found a note on a greasy scrap of paper. I don't know how it got there. I don't know who wrote it. It said, "They watch, they want." Nothing else. No signature. No explanation. I shoved it in my pocket, told myself someone was playing a joke, but I was alone. There's no one on the night shift. Not really. Supervisors rarely check in, and the security team only does rounds every few hours. After that, everything changed. The factory became wrong. Machines started on their own. Conveyors moved backward. Car doors opened and slammed shut. I was no longer walking through a building. I was walking through something alive. Something that didn't want me there, but wanted to keep me. The air felt heavier, almost humid, even though the ventilation system ran perfectly. I started hearing noises. Footsteps echoing behind me, though no one was there. Metallic whispers, almost words, but I couldn't understand them. Just the sensation of hundreds of eyes on me, even when I was completely alone. One night, while checking a conveyor belt, I saw hundreds of cars on the floor, all scratched. Deep, jagged claw marks in the paint, the kind you can't make by accident. I hadn't touched any of them. No one had. The scratches hadn't been there when I started the shift. I froze. My heart was hammering. Then I saw movement across the floor. Shadows, dozens of them, gliding between the machines. Every one of them taller than a man, blacker than the dark, faceless, silent. I tried to leave. Every exit I knew was gone. Doors that were there in the morning had turned into solid walls. Windows were black, reflecting something else. Not me, but something like me. Twisted, thin, impossibly tall, watching. I ran through the halls, trying to find an office, a security room, anything. But every camera feed was blank, every intercom silent. And then it spoke. Calm, cold, mechanical. "You shouldn't have come." I hid in an office for hours, maybe days. Time doesn't make sense in that factory at night. I could hear the machines humming, running on their own. The shadows never left. Every time I peeked out, I saw them waiting, patient, impossible. I started noticing the robots typing by themselves, letters flashing across the screens. Morse code? Words I couldn't read? It didn't matter. I just knew it was warning me, or taunting me. The nights blended together. Sleep doesn't come when the factory is alive. I can't explain the fear, the tension, the constant feeling of being hunted. Every turn I took, the shadows followed. I could hear scraping, like claws on steel, echoing down endless hallways. Sometimes I thought I saw them reaching for me, moving impossibly fast, skimming just above the floor. Sometimes I thought I could outrun them, but the factory doesn't allow that. The hallways twist, the floors shift, time slows. Or maybe I was losing my mind. I tried to find a pattern, some logic to what was happening, but there was none. The factory was a maze that shifted and breathed, alive in ways no human should ever witness. Lights flickered, sometimes bright enough to blind me, sometimes dim enough that I couldn't see the end of the hallway. I tried counting doors, counting machines, counting the cars, but they never matched. Every time I thought I recognized a section, I'd turn a corner and find something impossible. Machinery twisted at impossible angles, conveyor belts running at speeds no one could control, and always, the shadows were there, watching, waiting. Sometimes I would stumble across things I couldn't explain. A car half-built, its metal warped in unnatural ways. Screams recorded on the security system, though I was alone. Screams that didn't sound human. Sometimes the smell of something burned and coppery filled the air, like blood and metal mixed together. I began to wonder if the factory itself was alive, feeding on us, feeding on me. Then came the night I realized I wasn't alone in the way I thought I was. I was checking one of the assembly lines when I saw movement in the corner of my eye. I froze. A tall figure, faceless, impossibly thin, gliding between the machines. Its presence made the air thick, hard to breathe. I couldn't look away. And then I noticed all the car panels, the polished metal, reflecting the same figure behind me. I spun around. Nothing. Only the machines, humming, clicking, alive in their own way. But I could feel it. I could feel it moving closer. I ran through the endless factory, shadows always behind me. Screams died in steel halls, the hum of machines pulsing like a heartbeat. I hid in an office, but the whisper came. "You belong here." The door opened. Hallways twisted, conveyor belts shifted, pulling me deeper. Hundreds of faceless shadows waited. I wasn't walking. The factory was taking me. When the day shift arrived, the factory was empty. No cars, no parts, no trace of me. Security cameras showed nothing unusual. The lights were on, machines humming as if nothing had happened. I should have been found, but I wasn't. And the shadows, the faceless figures, the machines themselves, they're still there, watching, waiting. Sometimes, when I close my eyes, I hear the hum of conveyors, the scraping of metal, the whispering voices. I feel the faceless figure following me, even in my dreams. I know now that the factory doesn't just produce cars. It consumes, it collects, and it doesn't forget. I think I'm still inside it. Not alive, not dead. Just part of the factory now. The walls breathe, the floors pulse, the machines hum like a living thing. And when the lights go out, when the conveyors start moving, when the shadows glide silently across the factory, remember me. Remember that it doesn't matter how careful you are, because once the factory notices you, it won't let you go. It never lets anyone go.